What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Azulo here. And as you can see, I'm doing a little face over this time, and I got a new little TikTok mic. I don't know how this is gonna sound, so I'm kind of just hoping it works. And it's like 95 degrees Fahrenheit over here, so it's like extremely hot. So if you see me like moving around or like moving my face, it's because like I'm already sweating, and I don't sweat, so like I rarely sweat. Like even like throughout school, I like almost never sweat, and I play sports. But anyways, um, it's a really hot day. I wanted to kind of take advantage and um, just spend some time outside. I was gonna walk over to this. We have like offices around here, and I was gonna record inside, but it's too hot to be walking right now. And yeah, let's get into the video. I don't know if you guys can even see me. I could like barely see myself, but we're back to review Harukaze Mound's chapter number 2, To New Ground. So starting off, we have this really gorgeous color page. I mean, Keto Matsuura, your pen game is just too fire. I mean, you're always gonna snap on a color page, and this color page is just honestly beautiful. We get to see Haru and Ibuki, going up some stairs, and it's like cherry blossom season, so it's celebrating the springtime, and the title is actually like a little play on like spring wind or spring breeze. So it's really cute, and if you look closely, you can kind of see Kaze in the puddle and his reflection of Haru, and all the way in the back, we even see the some possible teammates or recruits. I see. But yeah, gorgeous color page. And moving on, starting off with the chapter, I really like this little page. We get like we start or we jump right back into what happened last chapter. Everybody kind of knows that like, oh, Haru kind of got invited to Hojutsu with his brother. Is he gonna go? Is he not? This and that, and you can kind of see Haru kind of have some like self conflict in a way. It's kind of like he has some news to break, but he doesn't really know how to go about it. And then he sees Kaze, and it's kind of like it's kind of hitting him, and you can kind of see where what's his brain is really thinking. And I really like this. I really, 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 really appreciate this next scene because it's Haru asking, Kaze to play catch with him, and like that's just so real. And they just talk it out, and they just he says what's on his chest, and he's like, yo, like, I'm not gonna go to Hojutsu with you. I'm gonna do something else. And Kaze kind of surprisingly is like, oh yeah, I already knew that. Like, they're like, that's all you had to say, like. And you can tell Haru was kind of like taken by surprise. He was kind of expecting probably a little bit more of a reaction out of Kaze. And honestly, I think Kaze was holding back. I think he did want to say some more, but Kaze is really like nonchalant and super chill. So I don't think he's always gonna give the reaction we want or what people want to see. And uh, you know, I like this little touch to the scene too because I think what there's a scene where or a little like panel where after like he's like, yo, like, oh, like that's what you had to tell me. You can see that Kaze kind of like is ready to just leave. Like he was kind of over with it, but Haru kind of sees that, and he's like, nah, like, and he throws his special underarm pitch towards him, and it kind of catches Kaze's attention. He's like, oh, like you got something else to say. And it was a really nice touch because Haru kind of tells him like, yo, like, I'm gonna beat you one day, and like I'm gonna be like, I'm your rival, like, don't you ever forget that. And Kaze kind of like locks in and realizes like, okay, like, it's kind of like a big thing for Haru to be doing this. So I think Kaze kind of appreciates what Haru is doing and actually kind of respects him more. And yeah, I just really this scene is just really cool. I really love, and I really hope we get to see more like brotherly, um, this dialogue and realness. Like just playing catch, it was just a nice and perfectly done scene in my opinion. Like it wasn't at the house; it was them doing what they both love, and it was, I don't know, it was just really amazing. Happy and proud to see that Goto is his. I think his writing game, his pen game has improved, and I really hope, and I'm always gonna say this, but I really do hope that they stay as like this positive brotherly rivalry. Like I really don't want it to be a jealousy or hatred or any type of like negative rivalry. Like I don't want that. I don't want them to start hitting each other, and stuff like that. But yeah, we get a nice little time skip, and I'm okay with time skips so far with this. I think the time skips so far seem perfectly correct. And for those of you that don't know, like they're kind of on a not like a countdown, but in Weekly Shonen Jump, when you're serialized, I think your first like 7 chapters are kind of like your most important because you need to build a fan base and you need people to vote in your manga so you can stay. So I think they're getting straight to the point. I kind of like that. They're not really wasting time. I totally forgot about the little pages where you get to see Haru and Ibuki, meeting each other again, and Haru can finally be like, "Yo, like actually, I want to go with you. I want to take up on your offer." And yeah, I'm really excited to see how Haru and Ibuki's friendships turns out. I really do think they're really gonna get along, but I think me personally, I would like to see some like headbutting and some like tension later on in the series. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, then we get a nice little time skip to them in high school. It's spring. It's their freshman year in high school at Hina. I think it was Hinazakura High School, or we could just call it Hina High. And yeah, they're dripped out. They got the nice uniforms on. And then Ibuki kind of already did the work for us. He already recruited some people. There's already like a small little team already. So I'm really glad that they kind of skipped over, recruiting, like, wasting a chapter per recruit. So I think it was a great idea to just do it all together at once. So we meet 3 new characters. Oh, excuse me. Over first, we get introduced to 2 new characters. We get introduced to Yuma Hodakata. I probably just butchered that. And we also get introduced to Maisuke Kurushibata. Yeah, I'm probably butchering these names, but I think it would. These are the people who were uh, in the last chapter, in the last color page. So you can go back to look at them. We actually get their character designs and their colors already, so that's pretty cool. And we don't get much about them. We just kind of get introduced to their names, but they seem like fun and stuff like that. And they seem like welcoming to Haru. But then we get introduced to there's always got to be that one guy, that one guy who doesn't like someone, or the one guy who just he can never just be like part of the team. He's not like a friendly team lead. He's not a teammate. We get introduced to oh wow. So then yeah, we get introduced to the hater. There's always got to be a hater in the group. This guy seems like such a hater. I mean, he's mean mugging. He's mean mugging Haru so much. Like man has his glasses off, just like giving him a major side eye. And he kind of we don't even get his name yet, but he just goes on about like, yo, like where's Kaze? Like we need Kaze. We needed Kaze. Who is this fool? Like that's his brother. Like we didn't need his brother. I think he even calls him discount Kuzumi. Like that's crazy. Like he literally is just dogging on him, saying how like they needed Kaze to win this year and this and that, and how like his brother is just like a substitute. He's not gonna be able to live up to his brother. Like it's not his brother. Like literally he's not him, and this and that. And I really like how Ibuki comes up and stands up for Haru, and he's like, "Yo, like you talking all this, but you haven't even seen what he can do yet. Like, you think I would just, you know, you think I would come up here with Haru if he wasn't him for real?" And we get a little like, ooh, we get a little what's the word? Before they actually get into the challenge, Ibuki kind of tells Haru like, "Yo, has anything he said like kind of gotten to you?" And Haru kind of surprisingly to me, he was like, "Yo, well, I mean, it was all true, so like what?" And Ibuki kind of goes on to say how that's kind of or Haru's personality is one of his strengths, and I think what he meant by that is that Haru isn't afraid to accept when somebody's better than him, or like lie to himself. Like Haru keeps it real, and like he knows it, and he's not like ashamed of it or anything. And I really appreciate that because like we saw in the previous chapter, he's working. He put in the work. He's staying at the school. He's practicing. He's practicing with his brother. He practiced with Ibuki. Like he went to Ibuki for advice. Like he's not afraid to ask for help. And I feel like that's another thing too. Like he will work and he will prove himself if he got to. And I really appreciate that, and I think that's gonna be, and I think it's true. I think his personality is really cool, and it's really real and really like motivating, makes you want to root for him because then we get to see that they kind of challenge one another. He's like, yo, let's see what you got, and then we get introduced to his name, which is Kipe Wakamori, and yeah, he reminds me a lot of Kenma from Phantom Seer, but anyways, he seems like a real hater, but they say how he's like, especially like really good. Even though he wears glasses, like he has a really calm demeanor, and how he can really analyze. Like he's smart. Like he's not just some like batter. He's a really intelligent and smart batter. But you know he, the whole premise of this whole thing was that he was just dogging on Haru without knowing anything about him, and of course they actually have the element of surprise. They kind of Ibuki kind of elaborates that how a lot of people nowadays, and at least in I won't say nowadays, but in their world or just in the pitching or the baseball world in general, people are just used to the same types of pitchers. But Haru is really an like a rare breed. Like he's really a rare breed. You're not gonna really find a lot of people who can pitch like him and pitch good like him. So they kind of surprised Wakamori with his underarm pitch. They surprised Wakamori with his underarm pitch, and he wasn't expecting that at all. He was shocked, and I really love this panel because we get to see a piece of Haru who kind of gets transformed into a bird wing, a piece of a bird wing. And going back to what I said last chapter, I really did want to see more animals like symbolisms with the characters because Kaze kind of already has like a full grown falcon, and I really think this kind of represents and it's gonna like symbolize more throughout the series of just Haru finding pieces of himself more and more, and the wing is just like a part of it. So like he grew a wing now, but eventually, like I feel like hopefully when we get to like a serious game, like when they're all like a team and stuff, we're gonna eventually hopefully get to see a full blown animal out of Haru. But for now, he's still trying to he just discovered himself, so that's why we just got a wing. But as we go on, maybe a game, maybe like a little scrimmage game from now, we're gonna get like a talon or maybe another wing, or like maybe the beak, or maybe the eyes. So I'm really looking forward to seeing his little animal grow, and I really hope they kind of do this. I hope that this wasn't like just a little style art style choice, but I really do think that this kind of is like a nice little way to represent himself. And speaking on like Haru's finding himself, I know this is a sports series, but I think me personally, I think it would be really cool if they kind of dive deeper and they go more into like Haru and him and Kaze's childhood and their relationship, and kind of how like just like on a journey, like it could be like a little side story, a little like side goal. But I really do hope he kind of finds himself, whether that's like not just through baseball, just like maybe it's like with friends, or with family, or like with hobbies and things like that. Like I think me personally, I think it would be really cool if they took another route and made it like a sports, but also like slice of lifey in a way, just make it real. But yeah, back to the pitch, Wakamori, he was not expecting that. I can't call him Wakamori. His name sounds like Wakamole. I'm about to just call him that Wakamole for real. But he gets thrown off, and he of course wasn't expecting that. He didn't even think. He probably didn't even like. He literally probably didn't even think, Haru was even gonna pitch something he couldn't hit for real. But our boy Haru got that, and the chapter could just kind of ends on Ibuki, just again, just reaffirming that like, yo, he's a different breed, he's a rare breed. But then we get a nice little like inner dialogue with Haru, and he's kind of like, well, this is just only the start because I have more up my sleeve. And I think that's actually kind of true. Like he basically just kind of says like, oh, like this underarm thing, like yeah, like it's my thing, but like I also got other things. And I think I really do think that's something cool because, Haru knows how to shadow pitch. He knows how to mirror draw. He knows how to look at somebody and copy their movements. He's gonna be like a copycat mixed with like his own little like secret, which is the underarm pitch. So yeah, I'm really excited to see more of Haru, and I really am excited to see his like journey. We don't really see Kaze throughout the chapter, but we do get like a little panel of him like starting practice or meeting his new teammates. And the chapter just kind of ends off there. But overall, I really do feel like the chapter was perfect in my opinion. I think for our second chapter, I think they really did a great job. Like, they didn't waste any time with, like I said, recruiting or just like more like character dialogue. They got the brother thing out of the way. They acknowledge each other. They're rivals now. We got that addressed. We got Ibuki and Haru, expanding on their friendship and really locking in. And then we met three new recruits, three new teammates, and yeah, like they're just moving along the story really well, and I'm really happy for them. And I'm really looking forward to, seeing the rest of the teammates and the rest of the story play out. The only things I will say, like my three little worries, one would be I really still wonder how they're gonna tell the story with the brothers because they're advertised as duos. They both are on the cover. They're both on like promotional images and stuff like that. But obviously we're gonna see more of Haru, so I wonder how they're gonna split that or how they're gonna make that work out. But overall, I feel like I trust them. I think they're gonna know what they're doing. But yeah, I do want to see more of Haru. I mean Kaze. So that. Another thing I saw was I'm a little worried that Ibuki might become like he might outshine the brothers in a sense, and maybe they're going for that. But I can really see people kind of liking or finding Ibuki more interesting because I will say he is interesting to me because I feel like he's an interesting catalyst that came on really early on in the chapter. So I hope they don't like hype up Ibuki a little bit too much. Like I don't want him to outshine the brothers, but overall, I don't think that's really gonna happen. My third thing would be is that we really haven't seen any baseball gameplay yet, which is like obvious. I mean, the chapter just like the story just started, but I know a lot of people are probably like interested and they're gonna be waiting to see if like can they really write a baseball sports series though? Because again, at the end of the day, this is a baseball series, so yeah, we have these nice character moments and this like amazing art style, but like, can they actually play ball though? So again, it's just little words, but overall, I really do believe in them, and yeah, I'm really excited to see. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the chapter, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry again for like all this stuff. Again, I'm just trying new things, and I just wanted to do something new. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. Please stay safe. Please stay blessed. Thank y'all. Love y'all. See y'all.